One of the most powerful spiritual practices that has the power to completely transform our lives forever is this divine self-love practice. This great transformation doesn't involve complicated rituals or expensive courses, but is related to how you treat yourself every single day. For example, if your desire is to manifest miracles in your life, the truth is that you need to become your own best friend on the inside before miracles start showing up on the outside. Otherwise, you'll keep trying different methods thinking something is wrong with you. If you master this practice, everything you touch will turn into blessings. However, this requires you to be honest about how you really talk to yourself. If you're ready to invite real miracles into your life, this video is for you. Most people who try to manifest miracles are doing it completely backwards. They're trying to change their outside world while their inside world is full of self-criticism and doubt. Think about it this way. If you had a best friend who talked to you the way you talk to yourself, would you still be friends with them? Probably not. Yet we expect the universe to shower us with love and abundance while we're constantly being mean to ourselves. This is like trying to grow a beautiful garden while poisoning the soil every day. You've probably tried vision boards, positive thinking, or maybe even expensive manifestation courses. And maybe they worked for a little while, but then everything went back to how it was before. This happens because these methods focus on changing your thoughts or actions, but they don't touch the deeper problem, your relationship with yourself. It's like putting makeup on a wound instead of healing it. The wound is still there, and eventually it shows through no matter how much makeup you put on. Here's what nobody tells you about manifesting miracles. The universe can only give you what you believe you deserve, and what you believe you deserve is directly connected to how you treat yourself when nobody else is watching. If you're constantly telling yourself you're not good enough, not smart enough, not worthy enough, then that's exactly what the universe will reflect back to you. But when you start treating yourself with the same love and kindness you would show to someone you care about deeply, everything changes. This isn't just another self-help technique. This is about recognizing that you are both the artist and the canvas of your life. Every thought you think about yourself, every word you speak to yourself, every feeling you allow yourself to have, these are all brush strokes painting the picture of your reality. When you realize that you have been the one creating your current life through the way you treat yourself, you also realize that you have the power to create a completely different life by changing that relationship. Think about the strongest, most confident, most successful people you know, not the ones who just pretend to be confident, but the ones who have real, lasting success and happiness. If you look closely, you'll notice something. They all have a good relationship with themselves. They don't beat themselves up over every mistake. They don't talk to themselves in ways that would make them cry if someone else said those things. They treat themselves like they matter, like they're worth investing in, like they deserve good things. And because they treat themselves this way, other people treat them this way too, and life treats them this way. If you don't learn to love yourself first, nothing external will change. This is the truth about divine self-love. If you master this practice, miracles will become your normal life. However, this requires you to stop being mean to yourself. Most people today are lost in social media, comparing themselves to others, and have lost connection with their own beautiful heart. We live in a world that profits from your insecurities. Every advertisement, every social media post, every magazine cover is designed to make you feel like you're not enough as you are right now. You need this product, this diet, this course, this relationship, this job, this house, and then you'll finally be worthy of love. But here's the truth. You've been worthy of love since the day you were born, and nothing you do or don't do can change that fundamental fact. Social media has created the biggest self-love crisis in human history. We're constantly seeing other people's highlight reels and comparing them to our behind-the-scenes struggles. We see someone's perfect vacation photos and forget that we don't see their anxiety about money. We see someone's relationship posts and forget that we don't see their arguments. We see someone's business success and forget that we don't see their failures and rejections. This constant comparison is like drinking poison and expecting other people to get sick. Somewhere along the way, most of us lost the connection to our own hearts. As children, we naturally loved ourselves. We celebrated our tiny accomplishments. We forgave ourselves quickly when we made mistakes. We believed we could do anything. But then the world taught us to be critical, to focus on what's wrong, to never be satisfied with who we are. We learned to talk to ourselves in ways that would break our hearts if we heard someone talking to a child that way. Many of us grew up thinking that being hard on ourselves would make us better people. We thought that self-criticism was the same as high standards. We thought that if we were kind to ourselves, we would become lazy or arrogant. But the opposite is true. People who are truly kind to themselves actually accomplish more, not less. They take better care of their health, they pursue their dreams with more courage, they recover from setbacks faster, and they treat other people better too. When you're constantly fighting with yourself, criticizing yourself, doubting yourself, you're using up all your energy on internal battles. It's like having a car where the engine is fighting against the brakes all the time. You're not going to get very far, and you're going to wear yourself out quickly. But when you're on your own side, when you're your own cheerleader and best friend, all that energy that was being wasted on self-criticism can now be used to create the life you actually want. The way you treat yourself affects everything in your life. It affects how you show up in relationships, how you perform at work, how you take care of your health, how you pursue your dreams, how you handle challenges, and how you see opportunities. When you don't love yourself, you might stay in relationships that don't serve you because you don't think you deserve better. You might not go for the job you really want because you don't think you're qualified enough. You might not take care of your body because you don't think it's worth the effort. Life is like a giant mirror that reflects back to you exactly how you treat yourself. If you're patient with yourself, life becomes more patient with you. If you're kind to yourself, life becomes more kind to you. If you believe you deserve good things start showing up. This isn't magic or wishful thinking. It's because when you treat yourself well, you make different choices, you carry yourself differently, you attract different people, and you notice different opportunities. Let me explain what divine self-love actually means because most people get this wrong. It's not about being selfish or thinking you're better than others. Divine self-love means treating yourself like you would treat your best friend, with kindness, patience, and understanding. When most people hear self-love, they immediately think it means being selfish, arrogant, or self-centered. They think it means thinking you're better than everyone else or not caring about other people's feelings. But that's not self-love at all. That's actually the opposite. People who are truly arrogant or self-centered are usually trying to cover up the fact that they don't actually like themselves very much. Real self-love is quiet, gentle, and secure. There's a huge difference between self-love and selfishness. Selfishness is taking care of yourself at the expense of others. Self-love is taking care of yourself so that you can show up better for others. When you love yourself, you have more love to give. When you take care of your own needs, you don't expect other people to fill all your emotional holes. When you're secure in who you are, you don't need to put other people down to feel good about yourself. Here's a simple way to understand what divine self-love looks like. Imagine your best friend came to you with the same problem you're facing right now. How would you talk to them? What would you say? How would you treat them? You probably wouldn't call them stupid or worthless. You probably wouldn't tell them they're a failure or that they should give up. You would probably be understanding, encouraging, and supportive. You would help them see their strengths and remind them of all the challenges they've overcome before. That's exactly how divine self-love works. You treat yourself with the same kindness and understanding. Divine self-love shows up in the small, everyday moments. It's talking to yourself gently when you make a mistake instead of calling yourself an idiot. It's taking breaks when you need them instead of pushing yourself to exhaustion. It's eating food that makes you feel good instead of punishing yourself with diets. It's wearing clothes that make you feel comfortable instead of only wearing things that hide your body. It's saying no to things that drain your energy and yes to things that light you up. One of the biggest parts of divine self-love is patience. Just like you would be patient with a friend who is learning something new or going through a hard time, you need to be patient with yourself. Change takes time. Healing takes time. Learning takes time. Growth takes time. When you're impatient with yourself, you create stress and pressure that actually slow down your progress. But when you're patient and gentle with yourself, you create the safe space that allows real transformation to happen. Divine self-love also means forgiving yourself for past mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes. That's how we learn and grow. But many people carry guilt and shame from things they did years ago, constantly punishing themselves for not being perfect. This is like carrying a heavy backpack full of rocks everywhere you go. Divine self-love means putting down that backpack. It means learning from your mistakes without defining yourself by them. It means giving yourself the same forgiveness you would give to someone you love. Most people are great at celebrating other people's successes, but terrible at celebrating their own. They finish a project and immediately focus on what could have been better. They reach a goal and immediately set a bigger one without acknowledging what they just accomplished. Divine self-love means celebrating your wins, both big and small. It means acknowledging your progress, appreciating your efforts, and recognizing your growth. Pay attention to the voice in your head, the one that comments on everything you do. For most people, this voice is like having a mean roommate who never has anything nice to say. Divine self-love means gradually changing that voice from a critic to a cheerleader. Instead of, "You're so stupid for making that mistake," it becomes, "Everyone makes mistakes, and you're learning." Instead of, "You'll never be good enough," it becomes, "You're doing your best, and that's enough." Divine self-love also means setting healthy boundaries with other people. It means not saying yes to everything just because you want people to like you. It means not staying in conversations or situations that make you feel bad about yourself. It means protecting your energy and your peace of mind. This isn't about being mean or rude to others. It's about being kind to yourself by not allowing others to treat you in ways that hurt you. Many people think self-love is the same as self-care, but they're different. Self-care is about the actions you take care of yourself, getting enough sleep, eating well, exercising, taking baths, getting massages. Self-love is about the relationship you have with yourself, how you talk to yourself, how you think about yourself, how you treat yourself mentally and emotionally. You can do all the self-care in the world, but if you're still being mean to yourself in your head, you're missing the most important part. The word divine in divine self-love reminds us that there's something sacred about each person, including yourself. You're not just a random collection of mistakes and flaws. You're a unique expression of life itself. You have gifts and talents and perspectives that nobody else has. You have a heart that can love and feel and care. You have a mind that can think and dream and create. When you recognize the divine nature within yourself, self-love stops being something you have to force and becomes something that feels natural and true. The first key to understand is that life mirrors back exactly how you treat yourself. If you're always criticizing yourself, saying, "I'm not good enough," then life will give you more reasons to feel not good enough. But when you start speaking to yourself with love and respect, the universe has no choice but to send you people and situations that treat you the same way. Think of your life as a giant mirror that's always watching how you treat yourself and then reflecting that exact same energy back to you. This isn't just a nice metaphor. It's actually how reality works. When you wake up in the morning and look at yourself in the bathroom mirror, what's the first thing you think? Do you smile at yourself and think something kind? Or do you immediately start noticing everything that's wrong? That first interaction with yourself sets the tone for how everyone and everything else will treat you that day. If you constantly tell yourself you're not smart enough, you'll find yourself in situations where people question your intelligence. If you tell yourself you're not attractive enough, you'll notice every person who doesn't seem interested in you and ignore the ones who do. If you tell yourself you're not successful enough, you'll focus on every rejection and missed opportunity while missing the chances for success that are right in front of you. The mirror doesn't lie. It simply shows you more of whatever you're already believing about yourself. Have you ever noticed that some people seem to get treated well everywhere they go, while others always seem to have problems with rude people or bad service? This isn't coincidence. It's the mirror principle in action. When you truly love and respect yourself, you carry yourself differently. You speak differently. You make eye contact differently. You set boundaries differently. Other people can sense this energy, and they automatically treat you with more respect because you're treating yourself with respect. Every thought you think about yourself sends out a vibration, like a radio signal broadcasting to the world. When you think loving thoughts about yourself, you broadcast love, and love comes back to you. When you think critical thoughts about yourself, you broadcast criticism, and criticism comes back to you. This happens so automatically that most people don't even notice they're doing it. They just wonder why they keep attracting the same types of problems or the same types of people into their lives. Many people have been stuck in negative mirror patterns for so long that they think that's just how life is. They think they're unlucky, or that good things only happen to other people, or that they're cursed. But the truth is, they've just been accidentally programming their mirror to reflect back negative experiences by being negative with themselves. The beautiful thing is that you can reprogram this mirror at any time by changing how you treat yourself. This mirror principle shows up most clearly in your relationships. If you don't think you deserve love, you'll attract people who don't give you love, or you'll push away people who do want to love you because it feels unfamiliar and uncomfortable. If you constantly criticize yourself, you'll attract people who criticize you, or you'll be extra sensitive to any criticism because it matches what you're already telling yourself. But when you start loving yourself, you'll notice that people start treating you more lovingly, and you'll also stop accepting treatment that doesn't match your new self-love standard. The mirror principle also affects your success and opportunities. When you believe you deserve good things, you notice more opportunities, you take more chances, you speak up for yourself more, and you don't settle for less than you're worth. When you don't believe you deserve success, you might sabotage opportunities, stay in situations that don't serve you, or not even try for things you want because you assume you won't get them. Money is one of the clearest examples of the mirror principle. If you think you don't deserve money, or that you're bad with money, or that rich people are bad people, your mirror will reflect that back to you through financial struggles. But when you start treating yourself like someone who deserves abundance, when you start respecting yourself enough to manage money well, when you believe you're worthy of financial success, your relationship with money begins to change. The key to changing what your mirror reflects back to you is to start with small, consistent changes in how you talk to yourself. Instead of saying, "I'm so stupid" when you make a mistake, try saying, "I'm learning." Instead of saying, "I'm not good enough," try saying, "I'm doing my best." Instead of saying, "I hate my body," Try saying, "Thank you, body, for carrying me through life." These might feel fake at first, but remember, you've been practicing negative self-talk for years, so positive self-talk needs practice too. The second key is understanding that miracles take time to show up in your physical world. When you plant a seed of self-love today, you won't see a tree tomorrow. You must keep watering that seed with kind words to yourself every day, even when you don't see results yet. Most people give up too soon because they expect instant miracles. In your mind, you can change a thought instantly. You can imagine yourself feeling confident, successful, and loved right now, in this moment. But in the physical world, things work differently. There's always a delay between when you plant a seed and when you see the fruit. This delay isn't a punishment or a sign that it's not working. It's just how the physical world operates. Understanding this timing helps you stay patient and consistent with your self-love practice, even when you don't see immediate results. When you plant a seed in the ground, there's a period where nothing seems to be happening above the surface, but underneath, the seed is breaking open, roots are growing, and the foundation for the future plant is being established. The same thing happens when you start practicing self-love. There's an invisible growth period where it might feel like nothing is changing, but actually deep transformation is happening in your energy, your beliefs, and your subconscious mind. Most people start practicing self-love for a few days or weeks, and when they don't see dramatic external changes immediately, they assume it's not working and go back to their old patterns of self-criticism. This is like planting a seed, then digging it up every few days to check if it's growing yet. The constant digging actually prevents the growth from happening. The key is to plant your seeds of self-love and then trust the process enough to let them grow undisturbed. Self-love works like compound interest. At first, the changes seem small and slow, but as you continue the practice, the effects start building on each other. The small confidence boost from treating yourself kindly leads to better choices, which lead to better results, which lead to more confidence, which leads to even better choices. Over time, these small daily acts of self-love create massive transformations in your life. Everything in nature has seasons and cycles. Trees don't try to grow fruit in winter. Flowers don't try to bloom before their time. Your personal growth and the manifestation of miracles in your life also follow natural rhythms. There are times of planting, times of waiting, times of growth, and times of harvest. When you try to force things to happen faster than their natural timing, you often end up creating stress and resistance that actually slows down the process. Often, right before a breakthrough happens, there's what feels like a testing period. It's like the universe is checking to see if you really believe what you've been practicing. During this time, you might face situations that challenge your new self-love beliefs. You might have people criticize you right when you're learning to stop criticizing yourself. You might face financial challenges right when you're working on believing you deserve abundance. This isn't a sign that your practice isn't working. It's actually a sign that change is coming, and you're being tested to see if you'll stick with your new beliefs. Your journey with self-love won't be a straight line upward. There will be days when you feel amazing about yourself, and days when all your old negative thoughts come flooding back. This is completely normal and expected. The key is to stay consistent with your practice even on the hard days. Actually, the hard days are when your practice matters most, because that's when you're building real strength and resilience. While you're waiting for the big miracles to show up, it's important to notice and celebrate the small changes that happen along the way. Maybe you spoke up for yourself in a situation where you normally would have stayed quiet. Maybe you chose to eat something healthy because you love your body instead of restricting food to punish yourself. Maybe you caught yourself being self-critical and chose a kinder thought instead. These small wins are actually huge victories that are building the foundation for bigger miracles. Practicing divine self-love requires faith, faith that your internal changes are creating external changes even when you can't see them yet. It requires believing that the love you're giving yourself is real and valuable, even when other people haven't started reflecting that love back to you yet. It requires trusting that the seeds you're planting today will grow into the life you want tomorrow, even when the ground still looks empty. The third key is about what you focus on when you look at yourself. The universe doesn't hear the word don't. It only hears the main message. So when you say, "I hate how I look," the universe hears how I look and gives you more reasons to feel that way. Instead, focus on what you love about yourself, even small things. Your attention is like a spotlight that illuminates whatever you point it toward. Whatever you focus on grows bigger and stronger in your experience. When you constantly focus on what's wrong with you, what you don't like about yourself, or what you wish was different, you're feeding energy to those things and making them more prominent in your life. But when you deliberately focus on what you appreciate about yourself, what's working well, and what you're grateful for, those things start expanding instead. The universe operates on a very simple principle. It gives you more of whatever you're paying attention to. It doesn't distinguish between positive and negative attention. When you say, "I don't want to be poor," the universe hears poor and responds to that. When you say, "I don't want to be alone," the universe hears alone. When you say, "I don't want to feel ugly," the universe hears ugly. This is why focusing on what you don't want often brings you more of exactly what you don't want. Most people have been trained since childhood to notice what's wrong, what needs to be fixed, what's missing, or what could be better. This isn't necessarily bad. It's helped humans survive and improve throughout history. But when it comes to self-love and manifesting miracles, this problem-focused thinking works against you. You need to retrain your brain to notice what's right, what's working, what's beautiful, and what's already perfect about you. Every morning when you wake up, your brain automatically starts scanning for information to focus on throughout the day. You can influence this scanning process by deliberately choosing what to focus on first. Instead of immediately thinking about your problems, your to-do list, or what you don't like about how you look, try starting your day by finding 3 things you appreciate about yourself. It could be as simple as appreciating that your eyes can see, your heart is beating, or your body carried you safely through another night. Some people struggle with focusing on what they love about themselves because they've been focusing on flaws for so long that they genuinely can't think of anything positive. If this is you, start incredibly small. Appreciate your fingernails for growing. Appreciate your lungs for breathing automatically. Appreciate your skin for protecting your internal organs. Appreciate your brain for reading these words. There are thousands of miraculous things about you that you can focus on once you start looking. Gratitude is one of the fastest ways to shift your attention from what's wrong to what's right. When you're grateful for something about yourself, you're automatically focusing positive attention on it. The more you appreciate your strengths, your efforts, your progress, and even your struggles, the more reasons you'll find to be grateful. This creates a positive spiral where gratitude leads to more good things to be grateful for. Your brain has been programmed to focus on problems and threats. It's a survival mechanism. But in modern life, this mechanism often works against your happiness and success. When you notice your attention automatically going to what's wrong with you or your life, don't judge yourself for it. Instead, gently redirect your focus to something you can appreciate. Think of it like training a puppy. You wouldn't yell at the puppy for going in the wrong direction. You would just gently guide it back to where you want it to go. What you focus on in yourself is also what you'll tend to focus on in other people and in life in general. If you're always noticing your own flaws, You'll probably also always notice other people's flaws, which makes relationships difficult. If you focus on what's lacking in your life, you'll miss opportunities and abundance that are already there. But when you practice focusing on what you love about yourself, you'll start seeing more beauty and opportunity everywhere you look. Your brain receives millions of pieces of information every second, but you can only consciously process a tiny fraction of that information. Your brain automatically filters out most information and only brings to your conscious attention the things that match what you're already focusing on. This is why when you're thinking about buying a particular car, you suddenly start seeing that car everywhere. The same principle applies to self-love. When you focus on loving yourself, you'll start noticing more reasons to love yourself that were always there but filtered out before. The fourth key will change everything forever. Most people are stuck in this cycle. They look at their problems, then feel bad about themselves, then their life reflects that bad feeling. Then they look at more problems. But miracle makers do it backwards. They start by loving themselves first, then watch their life slowly change to match that love. Let me show you exactly how the self-hate cycle works, because once you see it clearly, you'll understand why your life might feel stuck or why the same problems keep showing up over and over again. Most people wake up in the morning and immediately start observing their current reality. They look at their bank account and feel stressed about money. They look in the mirror and feel disappointed with their appearance. They think about their job and feel frustrated or bored. They think about their relationships and feel lonely or unsatisfied. When you observe these problems, you naturally start to have feelings about them. You feel worried, frustrated, disappointed, angry, or sad. These feelings then create thoughts like, "Why does this always happen to me?" Or, "I'm never going to be successful," or, "Nothing ever works out for me." These thoughts and feelings become the energy you're putting out into the world, and life has no choice but to reflect that energy back to you with more situations that match those feelings. So then what happens? Life gives you more financial stress, more reasons to feel disappointed with your appearance, more frustration at work, more relationship problems. And when these new problems show up, you observe them and feel even worse about yourself. You might think, "See, I knew I was a failure," or "I must be cursed," or "Good things just don't happen to people like me." This creates even more negative energy, which creates even more problems, which creates even more negative observations. It's like being trapped in a room with mirrors on every wall. Everywhere you look, you just see more of the same thing. Many people try to break this cycle using willpower. They try to force themselves to think positive thoughts or take positive actions, but they're still starting with the observation of their current problems. It's like trying to steer a car by only looking in the rearview mirror. You might manage to stay on the road for a little while, but eventually you're going to crash because you're not looking where you're going. You're only looking at where you've been. People who seem to effortlessly attract miracles into their lives do something completely different. They start with love for themselves, regardless of their current circumstances. They wake up in the morning, and before they look at their bank account or their problems, they connect with appreciation for who they are. They might say something like, "Good morning, beautiful soul," to themselves, or "Thank you for another day to grow and learn," or simply, "I love you," while looking in the mirror. When you start your day with self-love instead of self-criticism, you're setting a completely different energy in motion. Instead of broadcasting, "I'm not enough," to the universe, you're broadcasting, "I am worthy of love." Instead of sending out frustration and disappointment, you're sending out appreciation and kindness. The universe receives this energy and starts responding with people, situations, and opportunities that match this loving vibration. Here's how the Miracle Maker's cycle works. First, you love yourself unconditionally. exactly as you are right now. Then, from that place of self-love, you start to make different choices. You treat your body better because you love it, not because you hate it. You pursue opportunities because you believe you deserve good things, not because you're trying to prove your worth. You set boundaries in relationships because you respect yourself, not because you're angry at other people. When your actions come from self-love instead of self-hate, they have completely different energy behind them. People can feel the difference. Opportunities respond differently. Even your own body and mind respond differently. You're no longer trying to fix something that's broken. You're nurturing something that's already whole and beautiful. This creates sustainable, lasting change instead of the temporary fixes that come from willpower and force. The hardest part of breaking the self-hate cycle is learning to stop obsessing over your current circumstances. This doesn't mean ignoring your problems or pretending everything is perfect. It means recognizing that your current circumstances were created by your past thoughts, feelings, and actions. If you want different circumstances in the future, you need to start thinking, feeling, and acting differently today. But you can't do that if you're constantly focusing on what's wrong right now. Instead of starting your day by checking your phone, looking at your problems, or thinking about everything you need to do, try starting with self-love. Before you even get out of bed, take a moment to appreciate yourself. Thank your body for resting and healing during the night. Appreciate your mind for the dreams it created. Set an intention to treat yourself kindly throughout the day. This simple shift in how you start your morning can change the entire trajectory of your day. Once you've started with self-love, the next step is to look for evidence that supports your new loving beliefs about yourself. Instead of noticing everything that confirms your old negative beliefs, you start actively looking for proof that you are loved, worthy, capable, and deserving of good things. Maybe someone smiles at you. Maybe you find a parking spot easily. Maybe you have a good idea at work. These might seem like small things, but when you acknowledge them as evidence of your worthiness, they start to multiply. Now I'll share the exact practice I do every morning. Look in the mirror and say 3 things you're grateful for about yourself. It can be simple like, "Thank you, body, for carrying me today," or "I appreciate how hard I'm trying." Then place your hand on your heart and say, "I love you," to yourself like you mean it. The best time to practice divine self-love is first thing in the morning, before you check your phone, before you start thinking about your to-do list, before the world has a chance to pull your attention in 1,000 different directions. Go to your bathroom mirror and really look at yourself. Not the critical, judgmental looking that most people do, but the kind of gentle, loving looking you would do if you were looking at someone you care about deeply. Start by finding 3 things you can genuinely appreciate about yourself. If you're new to this practice, these might need to be very basic at first. You might appreciate that your eyes work, that your heart is beating, that you made it through another night. As you get more comfortable with the practice, you can start appreciating things like your creativity, your kindness, your sense of humor, your ability to learn and grow, or your courage in trying new things. When you say these appreciations out loud, really mean them. Don't just go through the motions or repeat words that feel empty. Take a moment to actually feel grateful for each thing you mention. If you say, "Thank you, body, for carrying me today," really think about all the amazing things your body does for you without you even having to think about it. Your heart beats, your lungs breathe, your immune system protects you, your legs carry you where you want to go. After you've shared your 3 appreciations, place your hand on your heart. This physical gesture helps you connect with the love that's already inside you. Your heart has been loving you unconditionally since before you were born. It has never missed a beat out of anger or stopped working because you made a mistake. When you place your hand on your heart, you're connecting with this pure, unconditional love that has always been there. Now, looking directly into your own eyes in the mirror, say, "I love you" to yourself. This might feel incredibly awkward or fake at first, especially if you've never done it before. You might want to laugh, cry, or run away. All of these reactions are normal. You're breaking years or even decades of conditioning that taught you that loving yourself is selfish or wrong. Keep practicing anyway. If saying "I love you" feels too big or fake, you can start with something smaller like, "I'm learning to love you," or "I'm here for you," or "You matter to me." The important thing is that you're speaking to yourself with kindness and intention. As you practice this daily, the words will start to feel more natural and genuine. You can adapt this practice to fit your life and personality. If you're not comfortable talking out loud, you can do it silently. If you don't have access to a mirror, you can do it while looking at a photo of yourself or just by closing your eyes and visualizing yourself. If mornings don't work for you, you can do it at night before bed or any other time that feels right. Some people like to add gentle movements to their practice, like placing both hands on their heart, giving themselves a hug, or even dancing a little. Physical touch and movement can help the love feel more real and embodied. You might stroke your own arm gently, massage your temples, or simply hold your own hands while you practice. When you start your day with this practice, it sets a tone of self-love that carries through everything else you do. You'll find yourself speaking more kindly to yourself when you make mistakes. You'll be more likely to make choices that honor your needs and desires. You'll be less affected by other people's opinions because you'll have your own loving opinion of yourself to rely on. When I started this practice, I felt silly talking to myself, but after a few weeks, I noticed people started being nicer to me. New opportunities appeared, small miracles started happening. It felt like the whole world was supporting me because I finally started supporting myself. I have to be completely honest with you. When I first heard about talking to yourself in the mirror and saying "I love you," I thought it was the most ridiculous thing I'd ever heard. I was going through a really difficult time in my life. I had just gone through a painful breakup. I was struggling financially, and I felt like nothing was working out for me. A friend suggested I try this self-love practice, and I literally laughed at her. I thought she was suggesting some kind of silly New Age nonsense that couldn't possibly help with real problems. But I was desperate enough to try anything. I had already tried everything else: therapy, self-help books, different jobs, different cities, different relationships. Nothing seemed to create lasting change. I would feel better for a while, but then I would always end up back in the same patterns of self-criticism and disappointment. So finally, I decided to try this mirror practice, even though I felt foolish doing it. The first few times I tried to look at myself in the mirror and say loving things, I couldn't even get the words out. I would start to say, "I love you," and then burst into tears or start laughing nervously. It was like there was a wall inside me that wouldn't let love in, even from myself. I realized how much I had been rejecting myself, criticizing myself, and treating myself like an enemy instead of a friend. After about a week of forcing myself to do this practice every morning, even when it felt fake and uncomfortable, I started to notice small changes. I wasn't as devastated when someone cut me off in traffic. I didn't spiral into self-hate when I made a mistake at work. I started choosing healthier food, not because I was trying to lose weight, but because I was starting to actually care about my well-being. The first major sign that something was changing was that people started treating me differently. My coworkers seemed friendlier. Strangers smiled at me more often. The cashier at the grocery store, who had never been particularly warm before, started making pleasant conversation. At first, I thought it was just coincidence, but it kept happening. It was like I was broadcasting a different energy, and people were responding to that energy. About 3 weeks into my practice, opportunities started showing up in the strangest ways. A friend mentioned a job opening that seemed perfect for me. I got an unexpected refund check in the mail. Someone offered me free tickets to an event I had wanted to attend. My landlord told me he was reducing my rent because I was such a good tenant. These weren't huge, life-changing events, but they were clear signs that life was starting to flow more easily. But the most significant changes were happening inside me. The constant mental chatter of self-criticism started to quiet down. Instead of waking up every morning with anxiety about all the things that could go wrong, I started waking up with curiosity about what good things might happen. I stopped seeing challenges as proof that I was a failure and started seeing them as opportunities to practice loving myself through difficult times. About 2 months into my practice, I met someone who would become one of the most important relationships of my life. But here's the interesting thing. It wasn't that I suddenly attracted a different type of person. It was that I was finally ready to receive love because I was giving it to myself. I wasn't looking for someone to complete me or fix my self-esteem issues. I was already becoming complete and confident on my own, which made me much more attractive and available for a healthy relationship. My financial situation also started to improve, but not in the way I expected. I didn't suddenly win the lottery or get a huge raise. Instead, I started making different choices about money because I believed I deserved to be financially stable. I stopped buying things to make myself feel better when I was sad. I started investing in things that would actually improve my life instead of just provide temporary comfort. I also started asking for what I was worth and stopped accepting situations where I was being underpaid or taken advantage of. The longer I practiced self-love, the more dramatic the changes became. It was like compound interest. The effects built on each other over time. The confidence I gained from loving myself led to better choices, which led to better results, which gave me more reasons to love myself, which led to even better choices. Within 6 months, my entire life looked completely different. Not because external circumstances had magically changed, but because I had changed from the inside out. One of the most important things I learned was to trust the process even when I couldn't see immediate results. There were days when I felt like the practice wasn't working, when old patterns of self-criticism would come flooding back, when I would question whether I was just wasting my time talking to myself in the mirror. But I had committed to trying this for at least 90 days, and I'm so grateful I stuck with it through the difficult moments. Even now, years later, I still do this practice every morning. Not because my life is perfect or because I never struggle with self-doubt, but because I've learned that self-love is not a destination. It's a daily practice. Some days it feels easy and natural, and other days it requires more effort. But it has become the foundation that everything else in my life is built on. When challenges arise, instead of falling apart or hating myself for creating problems, I have this solid base of self-love to return to. As we discover the power of divine self-love, we unlock miracles that were always waiting for us. What we see around us is simply a reflection of how we treat ourselves. The secret is not to wait for others to love us first. We must become our own source of love. Just like a beautiful flower grows from the inside out, our miracles bloom when we plant seeds of self-love in our hearts. Remember, you are worthy of every blessing that's coming your way. You were born worthy of love, success, happiness, and all the beautiful things life has to offer. This worthiness isn't something you have to earn through achievements, good behavior, or perfection. It's not something that can be taken away by mistakes, failures, or other people's opinions. Your worthiness is as fundamental to who you are as your heartbeat or your breath. The practice of divine self-love is simply about remembering this truth and treating yourself accordingly. When you commit to loving yourself, you don't just change your own life, you change the lives of everyone around you. Children learn how to treat themselves by watching how you treat yourself. Friends and family members start to believe they deserve better treatment because they see you treating yourself well. Your relationships become healthier because you're no longer looking for others to fill the empty spaces inside you. Your work becomes more meaningful because you're operating from a place of self-worth rather than trying to prove your value. The miracles that are waiting for you aren't just external changes like better relationships, more money, or improved health, though those things often do come. The real miracles are internal. The miracle of waking up excited about your day instead of dreading it. The miracle of making a mistake without hating yourself. The miracle of looking in the mirror and feeling genuine love for the person looking back at you. The miracle of believing in your dreams again. When you practice divine self-love, you become a light in a world that often feels dark and critical. You become living proof that it's possible to break free from the cycle of self-hate that so many people are trapped in. You give others permission to love themselves by showing them what that looks like. You become part of the solution to the epidemic of low self-worth that causes so much suffering in our world. You don't need to wait until you feel ready, until your life is perfect, or until you figure everything out. You can start practicing divine self-love today, right now, exactly as you are. Begin with small steps. Speak to yourself a little more kindly. Focus on what you appreciate about yourself rather than what you want to change. Treat your body with more respect and care. Each small act of self-love plants a seed that will grow into the miraculous life you deserve. This is not the end of your journey with self-love. It's the beginning. There will be days when it feels easy and natural, and days when it feels impossible. There will be moments of breakthrough and moments of doubt. This is all part of the process. The key is to keep going, to keep choosing love over criticism, to keep believing in your worthiness, even when the evidence around you suggests otherwise. As you continue to practice divine self-love, watch as your life transforms in ways you never thought possible. Watch as opportunities appear, as relationships improve, as your health gets better, as your confidence grows, as your dreams start becoming reality. Most importantly, watch as you become the person you were always meant to be, someone who knows their worth, who treats themselves with kindness, who believes in their ability to create miracles. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Take that step today. Look in the mirror, speak words of love to yourself, and begin the most important relationship of your life, the one with yourself. Your miracles are waiting.